Sherry. Welcome and good morning. Today we've got a lot on deck. It's been a very busy week and I haven't had a lot of time to do some content. So I thought I would just bring you along with me today. I've got pruning, we've got planting, and most of all, we have some harvesting. So why don't we get to it? I want to go over into the nursery and show you an update on the seedlings that I did. It was the cucumber seed hack. So it's only been a couple days since I planted those and posted that video. So let's go take a peek. All right. I mean, literally just a couple of days. Go ahead and then just position this, swivel this around and bring it down just a little bit so you guys can really get a good eye on this. All right. So again, this was the cucumber hack that I did where I took the seeds and I trimmed off the end with a pair of scissors to open up that fresh cut on the seed and go ahead and I planted it in the rock wall with a splash of vermiculite on the warming mat under the lights. And I think it's been about 3 days. So we've got we've got two up, and then you can see deep down in the rock wall, if I kind of get you in there just a little bit, they're all kind of popping up. So this has really only been, like I said, maybe 2 to 3 days. But what I'm curious about, which I have not done today, and this is what I wanted to do live with you guys, is that as this sprouts up, you're going to see the monster root. Now it's not there yet. Let me go ahead and check this one. Not there yet, but I would give a little more time. So it needs a little bit of water. When you have seedlings in this type of container that you're growing, I never water from the top. I always water from the empty. And if you don't have empty spots, then just lift it. But I just kind of even do just to get that water down. Make sure that these are all pressed down, by the way, so that the rock walls can soak up, because on the very, very bottom, there's tiny little holes. I take a towel or something to prop this up so that the water doesn't go the other way. I think my floor is relatively level, but you never know. So there we go. That's the update on these seed hacks. So I would think by, I don't know, probably 2 days, 3 days, maybe even 4 days, they'll be ready to go into the tower to fill those holes in the cucumber tower that we have. There's lots and lots of holes over there. So let's go over and just take a peek at the lettuce. This is the red and green lettuce. This was actually the sample pack, and I'm going to show you that I got from Tower Garden. When you buy the towers, they give you some free seeds. So let me see if I can find the exact packet. There it is right here. So it's called gourmet lettuce, and it's kind of a red and green mix. This is the exact packet that I planted here. And they're pretty much ready to go into the squash tower in the baby green section. So I thought maybe what we would do, we'd start with this today. So let me go ahead and I'm going to prop this up, swivel this around. Get this back up. Hi, how are you? All right, so I'm going to take this over here. Come with me. And we're going to move you guys. There we go. We've got lots to do today. Lots to do. All right. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, about 10 plants in here. And basically, they're just going to go up on that baby green section, right into the squash tower. So let's put this over here. And I like to do every other. Let me see what I've got in the back. Yeah, there's a bunch of holes back here. So I'm going to swivel that so it doesn't fall on the ground. That's not going to happen. So, all right, we'll do it from the floor. So as you can see, let me just show you right here. It's perfectly little mounds. And then you've got some really nice roots here. So this will do very well just on its own. I won't have to really watch it. It'll just take off from here. So let's go ahead and get these in here. And again, I like to do every other to give them that opportunity to really grow. If you crowd them, then you're not going to get that crisp lettuce that you want. You're going to end up with more like a baby green. And the baby greens are fine, but everybody likes that crisp lettuce. So I'm just popping them in the back, so you really can't see me, but you can hear me. And we're going to just pop them in. And you know, I'm really surprised too that the shade came out so early in the seedlings. All right, so on the other side. Here we go. Oh, a lot more room over here. A lot more room. And the lettuce that's in there now is a crisp lettuce. So we'll get these in here, get them growing. Sometimes I just have to completely weed out my lettuce when it gets to be a little too overwhelming. I've been known just to take it completely apart and start over when it starts to get super, super leggy and there's not a lot of crisp. I like crisp. So I just start over because it's just really inexpensive seeds that you're going to get from the tower. That's basically free. And then you can find like in Target, in Walmart, super, super cheap. Like at the end of the season is when you go clean up because they're just basically giving it away. So don't be afraid to stock up on them. They're not going to go bad. So I got a few more. Let's put them in. Hope everyone's been doing really well and that you liked the last video that I did on the seed hack and that people enjoyed that first live that I did. I had a blast, and that's why I decided to come back today and do another one just because I've been super, super busy and a little under the weather. I think I've got a cold from the weather change. I've never done well with one day being warm, one day being cold. And if my mom is watching, she knows. So I've been battling a little bit something. So if I sound a little nasally, that's probably what's going on. So I got one more. Where can we put this bad boy? We may have to double up. So I will go ahead and put this one right here. I'm really impressed with the root system on these guys. So there we go. All right, so that's done. I've been waiting to do that with you guys for a little bit. So let me just get rid of this tray. So hang on. Oh, I want to show you this too. So I was up north this week and I stopped by one of my favorite stores called Mahoney's. It's in Winchester. That's their flagship store. And they've got a few kind of around Massachusetts. And they are a carrier of some of my favorite seeds, which is that botanical interest. And again, I'm not an affiliate, but look at this. I found cucumbers and they're called lemon. And look how they're shaped. They're like round. And it just says, let's see, this adorable cucumber looks like a lemon, eats like an apple, sweet and crisp, mild flavor, delicious straight off the vine. So I was like, I think I have to grow that. So I got 2 packets of those. And then I've never seen this before. This is a squash, a summer squash, and they're round. They're called squash summer round zucchini. This delicious small round squash is packed with a mellow, sweet flavor, makes adorable individual serving bowls. So I think I got to grow that one too. And then, of course, I found another watermelon. Super cute. Looks like it's an heirloom. Adorable little watermelons taste like cucumbers, are fun to grow, easy to eat, pickle, or use as an olive substitute. I think we have to grow those too. So that brings me to a segue here. So I have an opportunity to buy 3 more flex towers. Not quite sure how I feel about this. Hey, Anthony, welcome. I think I have the room because if I push these guys back and I stagger them on this long area right here, I think I can get 3 more. We haven't told my husband yet. And they're located in New York. So I don't know the condition of them as of yet. I don't know if they're dirty or how new, but somebody wants to pretty much get rid of them. And she discovered me on YouTube and reached out. So yeah, so I'm kind of teetering with it 3 more. So I think I can handle it. I mean, I can handle 8. So what's 3 more? So I will keep you posted on that one. So let's get into the next thing I want to do. I want to thin out. Let me get rid of these seeds. The zucchini and I'm sorry, the summer squash tower. Remember I told you the other day it was just too thick and it's starting to canopy like the old one. So I got my garbage. So let me just position you as to where I want you. So you can see me. I want to really kind of focus um, right about here. I'm going to lift this light out of our way. There. This is really condensed. And again, there's stuff underneath that I can't see. There was actually a, a baby summer squash that I discovered this week that I never self pollinated because it was just so canopied. And so I missed that window. It closed up on me. So it'll probably turn brown at some point. So I'm just going to start from the top and I'm just going to snip a little bit, kind of give it a little bit of a haircut and see what we got going on. And so I've got a pollinated one down here, and she needs little bit of light because she's still not. She should be a little bit darker in yellow. Again, I don't want to stunt the plant, and be careful of the thorns yet. They hurt. Okay, so here's one that definitely needs to go because it's browning. Now, a couple of these leaves are support leaves. They're on the trellis, so you got to be really careful that when you do prune these back, that if it's a support leaf, leave it because that's what the vine is using. Unfortunately, this one is not a good one. And so it just shifted on me, but that's okay. It's way up here and it looks like it's got some good girth to it. So I just want to make it a little bit lighter and then get rid of some of these stems that had flowers on them. Don't need them. I'm going to leave these end flowers. And again, the goal is to just, where is that winding to? And they twist. They're not straight. For some strange reason, they get in there and they start twisting. All right, I may leave that one. What's under here? Whoops, that one just went by default. So, okay. It's so funny too, when you break them or cut into them, the stem has a little bit of water in it. It's moist. And we got a brown leaf under here, so let's definitely get rid of him. That's way up here, so it's not a support leaf. And the reason why I'm doing this is I said canopy, but another thing is airflow. Airflow is so, so important. When I come in here in the morning, and again, I have two side windows that lock. I have to open them. Even though the lights have been off all night, these things are growing. I mean, the water temperature, I'm sure, is, moderate, cool, but it's just really warm in here. So you got to get not only the fan going, but you got to get the cross ventilation going. So, yeah, it's warm. And we got some old flowers down here. So I'm just going to trim that off. Don't need that. Also, too, by doing this, you're drawing the energy from the leaves to actually produce more fruit. That's another reason to prune. Hope everybody's having a good day and you're staying up on the videos. I will get back to them ASAP, promise. Again, this week was just a little crazy. That one looks good. That one looks good. This is a different plant. I may just, I'm going to get rid of this one. This is a different plant, but just the zucchini tends to take over, even though it does look like the squash. But I just got to make sure that anything that's blooming down here is I'm able to see. I will say too, the flowers between the zucchini and the summer squash are huge. They're much different. So what do we got going on over here? That actually looks pretty good. That one doesn't need to be there because it's covering the net pot. You need air circulation on that rock wall, otherwise you're going to get that powdery mildew. I've been reading a lot about that lately. It's no good for your plants. If you do get it, you can squirt it with that hydrogen peroxide 2-in-1 mixture that I think we've talked about in previous videos or maybe through other channels. And that will stop it and it won't hurt the plants. So yeah, this plant looks really good. Happy with that. We got one down here you may have to get rid of her. No, it's not a support leaf, so we can get rid of her. Just want to give everybody equal opportunity to grow. Okay, so here's a real old one down here that I'm going to cut. This is part of the zucchini plant that's here. What we got going on back here? So far, so good. You don't want to take so much that you stunt it. That's for sure. Yeah, and there's another one that's, yeah, here's another thing too. There was a tiny little baby zucchini back here and I couldn't get to it. So I don't think it's gonna do anything. It looks like it's already starting to curl up now. Yeah, it just actually just popped off. So again, this was food that was hiding. It's hard. It's hard to get in there and see what's going on. But we do have some great zucchini back here that I probably won't pull off today, but I'm going to pull off the summer squash for dinner tonight. And down here looks really good. This plant looks really good. We got one that's a little brown in here, so let's go ahead and get rid of him. The weather in Newport here has been amazing. It's really starting to get nice and warm. Um, I'm super excited to spend more time outside and walk Libby a little bit more. She gets frustrated when we don't go for walks, but yesterday the wind was out of control. Like just it blew our gate open. So yeah, that wasn't good. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for joining me today on your Saturday morning. Another little flower back here. I'm going the other side. Here we go. Anthony, do you have any towers? I just curious to see if you've got a tower, whether Flex Home or some other version that you'd like to share with us. I'd love to know what you're growing. That'd be great. All right, what do we got back here? So we've got some big leaves. I'm going to go ahead and just snip this guy. Yeah, he's just too big, and he's shadowing some of the new stuff. So let's grab that garbage. Yeah, tons of squash. Again, if your nutrients are on point and your nutrients are on point, you're going to get a lot of flowers, and the flowers are going to lead to whatever you're growing, whether it's melons, squash, cucumbers. I mean, the strawberry tower is really very impressive. I never thought that we'd get there, but I'm getting not just one flower, but I'm getting clusters. And in the very, very center there, and I'm going to post this in the post because it'll just be easier. Like a cluster of small strawberries now. They're in there. They are they're in there and they're growing. They actually look like little mini strawberries. And again, that first one, I will be sure to share it with you guys because that you have been with me on that journey of growing them since they were a little beach sand. So yeah. All right, what's going on here? Leave going that way, leave going this way. So it looks pretty good. Yeah. Even the new ones that we planted are doing well. I'm just really trying to protect them from getting shadowed so they have an opportunity to grow. And this is that one that had the tons and tons of little blooms. But again, they were so small and the flowers were so small that I knew that eventually they wouldn't really do anything. And this one, you can see it just turned a little brown. Cool. I'm glad. Yeah, me too. I have a flex in storage. I'm a truck driver. Oh, the road. Yeah. Okay. So here's a funny story. So this week, I actually had to go north, and it was the first time that I left the grow room, like overnight. And it not freaked me out, but I knew everything would be fine. But I was a little nervous that, like, what if the power went out? Because these start back up not on one, but on zero, which means that water is going to pump faster. So I didn't really sleep well, and I was so excited to come home and just check on everything, make sure they were good. But yeah, no, I love this. I'm not quite sure that I'm going to go back to the soil garden, to be honest. I mean, I've got an opportunity this summer. We're going to be putting in a small pool. And so I can't really do anything out there because it's just going to be like a complete disaster. Maybe in late summer, but then it'll be too warm to start things, and the sun will just kill it. But if I put a tower out there just to see, I can definitely give it a shot. But the one thing I'm concerned about putting a tower outside that I see people is the towers get destroyed. And like the color is just, I don't know, like it fades, and it just, the water is, sitting in the tank and the sun is beating on it. So that water must get really, really warm, which then creates a whole litany of issues with algae and pests. And so I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm still enjoying the inside. There's no mosquitoes. There's no bugs. I don't have to get in, soil, just a little bit of, dirt from the leaves. But yeah, so this week was my first night away. Glad to be back. That and my mushrooms, like you leave those mushrooms unattended for too long and you come back and you're like, what happened? It's scary how fast mushrooms grow. And they say that they need light. They do, but it's like a reading light. So when I switch the rooms, I flip flop them and I put them back in the other room and took over this room. They love it in there. The heat is just perfect, and the light that I give them is spot on. So I've had really great success with the mushrooms. And we're actually going to go in there later because, like I said, it's going to be a long haul today. I need to get in the bottom of that and just clean it a little bit. So I need a summer squash for dinner. So I'm going to go ahead. I got two down here, but I just need one. I only like to clip one at a time so that I don't waste them. So that'll be perfect for a stir fry that I'm going to do with some chicken later. So we've got that one. I can't wait to show you guys the tomatoes. Tomatoes are awesome. I had a Zoom conference with a client, a nutrition client, and I do them down here. And she's like, look at your tomatoes. I'm like, I know, I can't believe that they're so red. And my first yellow one happened too. All right, so this one looks like it needs a little bit of a clip. It's got some yellowing. And then a brown one over here. So let's get rid of him. So that little flower can go. If you only have one tower, this was a tip that somebody had given, that if you have some old flowers that are shriveled up and you only have one tower, like say you just have like maybe two summer squash or one summer squash, take the old flowers, put them in a bag like a Ziploc and put it in your fridge, and save them, because those are the male flowers. So if you get something that needs to be pollinated, you've got them in your fridge. So when I first started, I had a mixed tower and I didn't have any male flowers. I only had that one female and it died because I couldn't pollinate it. So someone's mentioned in a forum, save those flowers. So yeah. And my new venture is almost ready for you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be upstairs. Don't want to ruin that just yet. Okay, so I really think that this is good, and I've harvested what I need on this. I'm kind of happy. So we can go ahead and move this. Get rid of the scissors, and I'm going to put the light back down. So Anthony, you said you're a truck driver. Where do you drive from? Like from what area to what area? Do you, and what do you haul? Just like, what kind of stuff? And you must be really happy that the gas prices are coming down. I would be. So I'm going to take a look at the bean tower. I want to show you guys a couple of things. I don't think I'm going to pull any beans off today, but they're there. So let's get up close. Here we go. So in here, I know I've told you in the last live about the water issue, and I would say another week and we'd be ready to go to really just drain the whole thing. So we've got some nice beans in here, and nice beans in here. I took some pictures of these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and post those pictures in the post section later so you can get a better view, or maybe just update my thumbnail. So I'm still getting those, leaves that are gross. But I'm getting beans. So I'm not, I'm not too concerned, but I just know that something's off. And until I can change out the water and then update the nutrients, I'm just not going to add any more. But I do check the pH, and the pH is on. So that just tells me it has to be the nutrients. So, and we've got some clusters back here. Let's see if I can't get you. There's a little cluster under there, if you can see. Um, this is a good little educational tip right here. See this spot right here where it turned white? This was just too close, and the leaves just they really billow out on the beans. This is a different kind of seed that I used on this tower than I've done in the past, and unfortunately I'm just not pleased with it. I'm going to stick with that botanical interest company. I really, really like their stuff. Their seeds are just they're not bad. I mean, I just think that um, their quality, whatever I put into the rock wall, for the most part, is accurate when it comes up. So I'm just going to prune a little bit again. I haven't been down here this morning. I wanted to do this with you guys. So here's one that's just, I don't know. Not a lighting issue. It's definitely nutrients. And some of the beans, like my other beans, were all yellow. I'm sorry, all green. And these are some of, they're kind of red. So it just tells me, I think it's just the variety of seed that I used in here. I think I even used some second generation in here as well. But I used the original brand that I did in the other room. But I don't know. I think it may have been, but here's some good beans. Some really good beans. Wow. Let me see if I can't bring you guys in here. Probably not. All right, well, we'll leave that alone. All right, I'm not going to pull any beans. I'm just going to let them continue to do their thing. Let's go on to the tomato. So we've had some good growth over the past day or two. So the coloring on the halo, those big reds are starting to come in here, so you can kind of see there. There's just a couple of those. I removed a lot of the big red plant. It was just taking over the tower, to be honest. And I didn't want that because I wanted the dwarfs. I wanted the little tomatoes just for the flavor, but I'm just going to hit these because again, I haven't done any of this morning. And it takes 2 seconds to just vibrate them, and it just gets the pollen out of that little shoot. And then you can start to see the fruit grow like right here. Let me see if I can't get you guys up nice, close and personal. See that teeny tiny, right where my fingers are? Hopefully you can see that. That's where the flowers are. Bangor, Buffalo. Oh, Bangor, Maine. Okay, so that's not too bad. So Anthony, do you live in Maine? Because that's a cold climate. So hopefully you're growing inside. You're like me. Newport is not too bad. But the wind, because we're on the water or a couple streets back, is unbelievable. So I'm just going to hit these. If I move you guys back a little bit. Anthony, what do you like to grow? What's some of the stuff that you like to grow on the tower when you were growing? Obviously lettuce is the easiest. Tomatoes are, they're not hard, but they were hard to start. Definitely from the seed. These were those Timmy, what were they called? The Timmy something. Those everybody gets them for the hydro. They're like the dwarf, the teeny, like these guys. Tom, I don't know what they're called. But yeah, they were from seed, and the seeds were pretty small. And to be honest, they were a little hard to get going. I actually put them in the tower probably too soon, and then all of a sudden I had to pull them out because they weren't They were not happy. They were not having it. They were like, nope, no go, not happening. Let me just scooch back here. I think there's a bunch. And this guy needs to get groomed back too. I don't know. It's a kind of a big undertaking, I think, for today. But yeah, a lot of blooms back here. And lots of tomatoes. Nothing that's ripe, but I definitely want to pull off some of the red ones. So why don't we go ahead and do that now? Oh, you live in Connecticut. Cool. Well, if you ever wanted to expand your tower collection with not having to pay a whole lot of money, I'll tell you, go to Facebook Marketplace. And there are tons of towers for sale down in Connecticut, New Jersey, and in Pennsylvania, believe it or not. And they're full. They've got everything. They've got the bins, they've got the trellises, the baby green section, even the lights, and it's short money. Short money. Worth it from the time you plant something. Like if you get the tower for like not a lot of money, obviously you probably have some supplies from your other tower, so it just kind of carries over, right? And then before you know it, the seeds are nothing, and then you've got cherry tomatoes. I don't know about you, but in Newport, to buy a bunch of, like, I would consider these organic cherry tomatoes, they're probably like $8 a pound down here, like a teeny tiny, and I'm talking like maybe 1.5 ounces of a gourmet mushroom is $9. Not kidding. Like, it's the food down here is so expensive. That's why I started to do this. So I'm going to pull off some of these little baby tomatoes because I'm going to use them in a salad tonight. So bear with me. I'm so excited. These tomatoes are awesome. Oh no, we lost one. We must go get her. I think she rolled under the tower. Oh. Let me see, where did she go? Oh, there it is. Now it's over there. All right. We can't lose that. All right, so maybe a couple more. And then I have my first yellow one, so maybe I'll grab her. I can't really see. Oh, there we go. Just pull it. So that's my first yellow one. I'm going to eat you later. So I probably only need a couple. I'm going to leave them so they get a little more ripe. All right. So she definitely needs to be pruned back. So maybe I'll do a little bit of that one here. So when tomatoes start to flower or produce the fruit, you really need to kind of prune it back as much as you possibly can from the bottom down. But in a perfect world, yes. But on a tower, like, it's crazy. So I kind of just look for things that are unhealthy, and then kind of come back at it. Like when I did the halo, I just kind of pulled it all out just because it was coming out to here, going over here. So I didn't want it to canopy and block the light. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff looks really, really good, but some of it got nipped with the lighting burning it. And I want to kind of keep it contained too. Not to interfere into the other tower space. That's the other thing that's kind of going on up here. Like, I'm going to snip this guy. There's no flowers on it and there's no fruit. I don't want it to get any more taller than it is. I'm 5'4", so that doesn't work other than a ladder. And knowing me, I would come crashing down. This one has some flowers on it, but again, it's just a little too tall. I'll let that one go. But the other thing too that I've noticed that on your tomato plants, just swivel this just a little bit so you can see me. These leaves are incredibly sticky, and the minute you touch them, they release that oil. And my dog can't stand it. Like, she won't let me pet her because it's too strong. So I have to remember to wash my hands, take a shower. All right. So this stuff is like, looks like a weed. Mm. I'll just do a little bit of this today. I mean, when I did the pepper tower last week, that was an undertaking. That was like almost 2 bags full of greens. 2 bags. Get rid of this. This is part of that old big red. I'll leave that alone. That's a tomato that's not going to make it. Weird looking too. So, yeah. I got some red ones down there. I'm going to leave those alone. But yeah, no, I really like the seed variety. I really do. It's going to give off a lot of fruit over time. I don't want the fruit to be, too much too soon because it will go to waste. So I only clip what I need. But as far as the pruning, it's just getting to the point where the the energy is in the mother plant and not being focused on the fruit. So it is time. And as I'm cutting, I'm actually seeing some tomatoes down here that I have not seen before, and those actually look like yellow. And those are the ones that I want. So this is a good thing. When I planted this tower out, I planted pretty much in all the net pots, and then when I got into the baby green, I put the dwarfs in every other spot of the baby green section. So I'm over here, so let me just swivel just a little bit so you can see me cutting away, pruning. Some people have said, "Oh, it's a lot of work. I don't have time." But, do you have time to, eat food that you're paying too much money for or that's going to make you sick? That's how I kind of look at this. This is all organic that I'm growing and I know what's in it. So I feel like I'm doing my body good. Um, Nothing makes me more angry than going to the store and paying really good money, like the mushrooms, at this one store that we have on the island that has kind of more of a gourmet. I'm not kidding you. It was like 1 to 2 ounces for I think it was an oyster type mushroom, and it was $8.99 for 2 ounces. I mean, when you cut that all down and saute it, whether you're going to put it into a salad or a burger or whatever you're going to do with it, throw it on pizza, it's like that much. And so I was like, no, I'll grow my own. Thank you. That's just wasteful spending. Um, it's like opening up a window and taking out a bunch of change or dollar bills, and you're just throwing them out there because someone's benefiting off of you not wanting to grow your own food. It's not hard. You just, if you don't have the space, I get it. I mean, that's one thing, or maybe here's another one. Like maybe you just had a baby or something. I get that. I understand. I understand that completely, that you just, it's not the right time in your life. And I've definitely been there, where you just don't, and your life is consumed with whatever's going on. But I think the one thing that I've focused on, as I've transitioned to living on an island, is wellness, and really focusing on not being stressed, just living every day and doing things that I enjoy, and really your circle of friends being really quality. So, okay, I'm going to work on this halo thing. Oof, this thing's huge. Making a mess down here. So as you can see, we could spend hours in here doing this. I'm just going to cut a little bit, move on. Because there's so much foliage. But again, that foliage is taking away from the energy of growing tomatoes, or me discovering that there's fruit deep down in here and I can't see it. I just discovered a whole pocket of tomatoes back here and flowers I have not seen. So I'm going to actually clip that back a little bit more so I can see them, because that's what we want. I really like that one. No. Ooh, it smells like tomatoes in here. And so we're doing I can see, yeah. Wow. Okay. I can see the inside of the tower for the first time in a little bit. So that's good. Anybody out there living in a tropical climate? Tell us what your environment's like. You know, the weather must be warm. Hopefully you don't have any storms. Hopefully you're not in North Carolina like those poor people down there. It's a disaster. Like those poor people are just getting killed, whether it be the weather or the government not helping them. I'm watching on the news, and I know a couple people that do this down in that region, and they don't have a lot of resources. So I definitely feel bad for them, and hopefully they get the help that they need. So, yeah. All right. What's going on back here? I think I'm going to leave the back for another day, because that's a whole other can of worms. But we got a little bit of pruning done. Oh, another yellow one. Oh, I want that one. Hold on. Yeah, and I moved a couple leaves, and I was like, whoa, there's more tomatoes. There's actually a couple, so I'm going to get in there. I love yellow. There's another one. I don't know. I don't think that one's right. I'm going to leave that one. But here's another one. Yellow. Yummy. Tomatoes. All right. So we're going to just leave this mess. Pack that down. And move on. I'm not going to do much with the pepper today. We did that the other day. I'm just kind of give them a little airflow this morning. And I'm really hoping with the haircut that I gave them last week, with now the light coming from the window in from this, I see one right here that looks like it's turning, because these peppers are supposed to be yellow and orange, not green. So even these big boys that are down on the bottom, they're bright green. So I'm really hoping sometime soon they're going to get in there and turn a color, because I'm not really fond of green peppers. I don't really like the taste. So it would be very disappointing to have a whole tower of green tomatoes. Yeah, yep. All right. So I just want to show you real quick on the strawberry tower. See if I can't do this. And again, I took some pictures of this where, let me just get that light out of the way. It's no longer like just one flower, but it's like clusters now. So hopefully you guys can see that. And there really is like just so many. And there's actual strawberries in here. They're not red yet, but they're deep in here. See if I can't pull. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But again, I took pictures and I will post them in the post area a little bit later. So I'm going to swivel you to this tower, to our cucumber tower. I'm going to grab some celery for my salad tonight. Just a couple off the back. I noticed that some of the leaves in the front are starting to turn. I may have to rip that first one out. It's looking a little ragged. I want that one right there. And the celery is getting super, super tall. Super tall. So we'll harvest about, I don't know, 3 stems or so. I'll take off those leaves. I love that smell. And then the last thing I want to do today with you guys is we'll go see the mushrooms. And with the mushrooms, I want to just show you what's in there, and I want to clean out the bottom, just wipe it. So let me get you guys set up. We're going to go for a little walk. Lighting in this room, you're going to notice instantly that it's dark, and that's what the mushrooms like. So I need to go get some cleaning stuff. So I clean the mushroom tower with a little bit of alcohol and paper towels. And you really need to use gloves, but I'm not really going to be handling the mushrooms. I'm just going to pull them out, set them down or on the tower. So, all right, so right now we've got 4 fruiting blocks in there. And one of my favorite mushrooms is the chestnut. So with the Martha tent, actually, you know what I could do while you guys are here, so you guys get to experience it, is that in the back there is a CO2 removal, and I need to get the tool and a cloth. So I need to get that. So with the mushrooms, you have to give it humidity, and you need a fan to get rid of the CO2. And I need to get the cloth. And it's a piece of, I don't know, it's not really cotton. It's like if you know what batting is, that's kind of what it is. The batting it's just a cloth that goes over the front of the filter, and you then kind of put it back together. So I'm going to try to do that. Let's do the inside first, though. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead. Unzipper. So I am not an affiliate yet of Norspor, but I get most of my mushrooms through there, although I did find another company by chance in a farmer's market, and I really love their stuff. So I'm going to be splitting my fruiting blocks between the 2 companies. They're the new company, and I can't think of the name of the company. Their shiitakes were the biggest veils I think I've ever seen for a shiitake. Oh my gosh, and they were delicious. Norspor has a really good company, very well organized. I don't really need to kind of take them out, but you know, I just for fun. So here's the chestnut. You guys could see it. They still got a ways to go. So I'm going to leave them in here. To really try to not do what I'm doing, but I don't know. I like to play with the mushrooms. So these are the blue oysters. The color is just amazing. This is the second crop on these guys. And these guys I just put in here. Not much going on with those. I forgot, one was Namiko. That looks pretty good. So we're going to leave them. So basically, mushroom farming is not difficult. It really isn't. You just need to keep up with the maintenance. You can't let water get away from you with this. And what I mean by that is you're going to get water in the bottom, and you don't want it sitting. So what I like to do is take paper towels. Norspor with this tent did an insert on the bottom right here. And when I first built this, I put it backwards. And but I have since fixed it when I moved them in here, and it comes with these removable racks. Now, mushrooms give off spores, and so it's really, really important to keep these spores under control. If you don't, you are setting yourself up for problems, and you're going to be wasting a lot of money. Trust me. You're going to end up with a ton of mold and fruiting blocks that do absolutely nothing. So save yourself a ton. I don't use a regular cleaner. I use alcohol. And if you are sensitive to the smell, wear a mask. Sometimes I will spray it directly, but because I have mushrooms in there, I'm going to go ahead and just spray it on a clean paper towel. And it is strong. And basically all I do is I get in there and I want to wipe the bottom. There's not a lot of water down here, but And those are the spores. Okay, that's the spores. So it's important to keep them in check. I try to keep up with this as best that I possibly can, because I love my mushrooms. I have tons upstairs in paper bags in the fridge, and I put them on everything because they're so good for you. They're so healthy. Um, they have all kinds of different properties. Let's see. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm going to stay away from the ones that are in here that are fruiting. That actually looks pretty good. I'm going to just lift. And the spores they'll grow on anything that's in there. I don't really do the wire per se, but I will lift it up and do the bars. You can actually see them growing. And the alcohol is just, it's a lot, but it's worth it to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and zip this up. I'm not going to play around with it too much because you want to keep that humidity stable. So I keep the humidity for these guys at about 86, and it's on a timer, and the water goes right there. And you can leave these. I'm more concerned about the towers than I am about this. But if you have something that's fruiting, like the chestnuts or the blue oysters, I will say once you turn the lights off and you leave, these guys, they take off. They grow like leaps and bounds. So I'm going to swivel you guys so you can kind of see what I'm doing over here. I'm going to do my best. To get in there. And the other thing too is I need to get a clean towel. So just bear with me. All right. So with this structure, there is seepage, and it will kind of flow back into this mat down here, and you don't want that. So I have figured out the system of this towel, and what it does is it absorbs it. Now, hard. I don't know if you guys can actually see what I'm doing, but I'm taking off this collar, and it has a ring, and I'll show you in a second. It takes 2 seconds to do this. I have done this in other videos, and look at the CO2. It's soaked, and it collects the spores. So this is really, really wet. So you got to change this like every couple of weeks. If you have things that are fruiting, I would definitely do it every other. And you just honestly, you don't have to throw that out. You literally just stick it in the sink with some soap and water and let it soak, and then put it back in. I will, though, clean the inside of the sleeve. So see how up here, there's a sleeve that fits onto that pipe for the humidity? It's the same thing for here. So it's just really hard to show you. Although I need to get some alcohol. So I got to move. And of course, it's a teeny tiny tight space. You want to keep your mushrooms and you want to keep that tent super healthy. If you don't maintain it, your room, the first thing that's going to happen is your tent is going to start smelling like stinky fish. So this is that collar that goes around the filter and the cotton. So I'm just going to get in here and I'm just going to wipe out the spores. And it's just a little, not much, but again, you got to keep it clean. So now I'm going to take the batting and I'm going to put the ring on top of the plastic insert first, way in. I'm going to put the batting over the back of the fan. And while I'm here, I'm going to get rid of, so this is the towel. This is the yucky towel that I wash. And it's super, super dry down here. So here we go. So I'm going to put this like this, line it up over the filter. And I get it nice and close to the tent. Now I take this collar, this ring, and I may have to just open it just a little bit more. So it slides on gently. You don't want to like crack the filter. But you want to make sure that that batting is evenly distributed around the CO2. And now I'm tightening with a screwdriver the collar. Do the best that you can without over stripping. And now I take a clean towel and I gently lift this all up, making sure all of the cords are out of the way. Again, this took me like a couple minutes. And I literally I put it so it's sitting on it, keeping that collar straight and then angled up so the air is kind of flowing to me right now. All right, so that all looks good. Air is coming out. And so now basically I just need to go and wash the towel. But before I had discovered, just straighten you guys out a little bit. Before I had discovered all of this moisture and spores were going underneath the tent. And I was like, oh my God, what is that smell? Because it was just plastic and water. Now I'll have to put some bleach or something to this to get it clean, but so worth it. So if you have a tent and you have that issue, that's what you do. Just put an old towel or a bunch of rags and just put it up against the tent, and you won't have that problem. But we'll go ahead and clean out this mess and wash out that batting. And so what I do is when I dry this, I put it on top of in the nursery on top of the warming mat, and the warming mat cleans it, or dries it, I should say. So keep that there. All right, so that concludes all of the mushrooms. We'll keep you updated as to when we're going to go ahead and harvest those. But this is now the mushroom room. Going to stay that way, and we'll put away our stuff. And I think that will conclude today's live. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys can. If you didn't catch it, you'll see it on the preview when I post up there in a little bit. And we will see you very, very soon. So thank you very much.